This is the video review of Transformers Reveal the Shield G2 Optimus Prime, or Laser Prime as he's sometimes called. This is a pretty nice figure, although, as you can see, these orange bits, they don't quite make it work and make it look kind of ugly. And in fact, those orange windows have made some people say this is one of the most ugly figures in a long time. I say to those people, nay, you are not true fans. And I don't say that because I love this figure so much. I say that because they do not play with their figures enough. What you do is, if you fold this up, the thing the head's on, and then you fold in those windows like you would for transformation, and then put the head back down, that orange is hidden, and instantly it becomes a quite nice looking figure. And I don't get it. I mean, the people who have said this figure's ugly, why didn't they do that? I mean, it's already known the windows can go in because it's required for transformation. And I don't know. I mean, if nothing else, it would be pretty easy to cut those out if that weren't possible, so I can understand people not wanting to modify their figures, but not playing with their figures enough to know that this one glaring problem that makes some people dislike it is easily fixable. I don't know, I have a problem with that, because why buy the figures if you're not going to play with them, you know? Anyway, here's the figure. Rolls pretty nice, although it's hard to get all the wheels balanced, especially since the wheels rotate around like that for transformation. And strangely, no matter how hard you push them in, these parts right here, these like half wheel wells, without even being bumped or touched even, somehow I find they're always getting bent up like that, and I have to push them back down. And I'm not quite sure what causes that, but I do wish that they stayed there better. Now, overall, a very nice figure. And I do wish that this was either all red or all blue or something a little bit more uniform, but I don't mind it. I think it looks pretty good. Now to transform it, we'll begin by taking these pieces I was talking about earlier, rotate them up, and fold them together onto what will become his back. Then take these side panels here, open them up, bring the arms down, split the hood, the hood, then reach in from under and push the head up, rotate it up, push it down, and then turn it around, pull this forward, and push it down. Rotate the arms forward, and we're starting to get an Optimus Prime here. All that's left is split the legs, which will release his trailer hitch. I'll show that now. Pull this out, rotate this up, and then swing it down, and you've got a bitchin' sword. I like it because it's clever. I don't like it because it's required parts farming, because if the sword's not in between the legs, they don't stay together that well. Continuing on, these black panels on the backs of his legs, fold those in, and then take these wheels, rotate them up, and then push them in. They don't go in at first, just rotate the wheels until they do. That's all you need to do to get them to go in. And then pull this down and pull out the feet. And here we have G2 Laser Prime. And this is a very nice figure, although the hips on mine are kind of loose and I have not gotten around to tightening them. So for the most part, a very nice looking figure. The reds and the blues and the blacks all sort of come together and make a very nice looking robot mode. And I like it quite a bit. His sword will fit into his hand, although it's not very obvious which way you're supposed to do it, because This way you get sort of a gap here, and doesn't quite look so nice, but it's all blade. Here you have this on it, but then only that much is blade, so I tend to go back and forth on how I put it into his hand. Now, one thing about putting it into his hand, though, is that it usually goes in at kind of an angle, like this rather than like this. So it's a little bit odd, and I don't want to turn it too much because, well, it's an open hand. I don't want to break off the thumb. So, as for flaws in this robot mode, he has these flaps on the insides of his arms, which there's nothing else I can do done with them. His shoulders are pretty big, and they don't get in the way as much as they used to, because there was a little tab here, a little translucent tab that would bump in here and limit his shoulders a little bit, but I cut that out, and it didn't damage the alt mode any, so I'm glad I did that. Now, let's see, flaws. There was something else I was thinking about earlier. Let's see, what is it? Oh, it's probably just that his hips are kind of loose on mine. Oh yeah, it's that. His knees only bend this far because the wheels sort of go together. Yeah, that was the other flaw. Anyway, articulation, he's got a very nice ball-jointed head. He's got arms go forward and back. They can hinge on this. And he has outward here, although somewhat limited. He has an elbow that can go a surprising amount back and a little under 90 degrees forward. And then here are the parts I really like. His hands, because his hands are not only on ball joints, but they're on hinges like this, so you can get some really nice I'm pointing my sword at you poses. He has a somewhat limited but very much appreciated waist joint, because even actually that's limited actually makes it a little bit better because it's not just free spinning. It has natural looking boundaries on it. The legs are ball joints, so out that far, forward, back, rotates above the knee, has that limited knee, and then his feet are quite well hinged because they can hinge forward, not back, but then they're ball jointed too, so any amount of back you need, you can, not any amount, but a fair amount back, you can use the ball joint, and then his feet can turn and rotate quite a bit side to side. So while he has some basic posability problems, he has a lot of non-standard posability that makes up for it quite well, I think. And especially with his sword, because he wields the sword better than Drift wields his swords, and that's no easy feat. So overall, I like this figure quite a bit. It really looks like a Prime. It's kind of small, and that is a knock against it, but for the most part, it's very well designed. You have to sort of warm up to what they had to do, like with these here. You have to sort of warm up to the figure and learn to look the other way with those kinds of things, because to make a simple deluxe class figure, it's what they had to do. If they were Voyager, I'm sure like there would be an extra hinge and it'd fold up this way, and then it'd be a lot better. And yeah, this figure would have benefited from being a Voyager, but for being a deluxe, it's really good. And those are my thoughts on the figure. Thank you for watching.